of this podcast. My name is Priya.
And I'm Sofia, and today we are talking about an interview that Oprah had with Cheryl Strayed, the author of Wild. The interview is on YouTube, and it's also a podcast episode on Oprah's Soul Sessions. And it's called Brave Enough, if you want to have a listen to it after we talk about it.
It is based on the book that Cheryl Strayed wrote, which is basically, it's called Brave Enough. And it's basically a compilation of quotes that she's said, which I think is such a fucking ballsy move. Like, you just have a book of quotes that you publish, and all the quotes are things that you've said.
That's how you know you've made it.
That's how you know you're a fucking baller. She's like the greatest of all time. And now that is my life goal, to publish a book of quotes. And I already have...
Your own quotes, not even everybody else's quotes.
No,
just you.
Yeah, it's just the weird shit I say.
Is it bad that I've kind of felt cynical about that? Like, oh, she's like releasing more material, but it's kind of rehashed stuff.
You mean...
It's kind of like, you know, like a band retiring and then running out of money, so they go like have a comeback. Does that make sense? Is that too harsh?
No, because that's how you felt. So I don't think it's harsh. I just think it's how you read the situation.
Yeah, at first. But I have to say I really did like this interview.
Yeah, I did too. I think my favorite part about the interview, like, no offense to Cheryl, but Oprah was definitely my favorite part.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I downloaded the podcast and I listened to it in my ears, and hearing Oprah's voice, like, Oprah's been around as a public figure for a long time.
Yeah.
So, like, you forget how, like, baller of an orator she is. A true orator. Orator. Like, Oprah does not have vocal fry.
Dude, she does not mess around.
No, she does not. She could, like, you know, deliver the word of God with that voice and that enunciation. Like, she's very good at it.
And the strength of 1,000 angels. And the face of an angel.
Yes.
And the persona of an angel.
Yeah, and it's funny that I, like, perceived Cheryl as sort of making a cynical move with her book, because she also talks about in this interview how there was a former interview with Oprah, how she had to buy a shirt from Goodwill just for that interview because she was so broke.
Yeah.
And she didn't let on that that was the case. And Oprah told her that she was going to be rich one day. And I feel like that's amazing.
Yeah, well, like I said, Oprah's an angel. She knows the future. She's just got this vibe about her, this, like, cultivation of, like, positive energy and intelligence and courage and all of those kinds of good things.
Yeah, and she does tend to... I mean, it's so easy for her to overtake whatever subject she's interviewing, as, like, exemplified by now when we're just talking about her, when it's an interview of Cheryl Strayed.
Yeah.
But I think one of her gifts as an interviewer is she knows when to interrupt, or
when she knows when to pry, when to ask a question.
Yes, and when to, like, contribute her own thoughts to it, but also letting the other person have room to present themselves in their best light. Yeah,
I just feel like Oprah is so skilled, and I could learn so much from her.
Oh yeah, she's my dream dinner party guest.
She's my dream mentor.
She has this amazing story. She was on the Jonathan Ross show around the time that one of her movies came out, and she said that she was a contestant in a pageant, and the question was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And all the good answers were getting taken. She wanted to say teacher, nurse, like somebody took nurse. So, like, as they were going down the line, she was like, what do I say? And she remembered that morning that she watched Barbara Walters on the news. And she said, I want to be a journalist, a broadcast journalist. And she said something like, I want to help people tell their story so, you know, it can help other people relate to other people's truth. Something profound like that. And she said that as she was saying it, she was like, this is a really good answer.
But, you know, like, that moment, it happens to all of us when you're like...
When you bullshit your way to your truth.
And then you're just like, oh, okay. I see you, universe. I see you.
Like, it's amazing. Like, if Oprah had, you know, gotten the answer that she wanted.
Yeah, like
maybe,
teacher or nurse.
Yeah, she wouldn't be the person that she is today. So, like, Oprah also had to stumble through life, you guys.
Yeah, there's like this super famous quote or something like that where it's like, Oprah got fired at 23.
Yeah.
So you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Oprah was still finding herself.
Yeah, but Oprah was still Oprah. You know?
Well, let's talk about Cheryl a little bit and take the spotlight off Oprah.
Let's do that.
So, Brave Enough, we haven't read this book. We just wanted to explore this interview. And one of the things that she said during the interview was, this is one of her quotes from Brave Enough. Don't surrender all your joy for an idea you used to have about yourself that isn't true anymore. Which is true. It's this idea of like what you thought you wanted and all that stuff, or if you're there in your journey and you get there and you figure out, oh wait, this isn't what I want anymore. Yeah. That's okay. And you feel like that, like, this is what I'm supposed to be, so this is what I'm gonna pursue, instead of like really looking into your heart and seeing if that's what you really want. Yeah, and that's the beauty of life. Even if you're on a certain path or going towards a certain goal, that doesn't mean anything. Everything, all of these things that you set for yourself, these limitations or boundaries or goals, they're all in your head, and they're so flexible and fluid with who you are and who you're becoming that it's unfair to put yourself in a box when really the world and like your potential is limitless. This really hit me for a specific reason, and basically, you guys know I have depression, and I've had it for a very long time, since I was about 13 years old, and I don't have the situational depression, I have chronic depression. And ever since I hit like my early-ish, late-ish 20s, I've always compared myself to this alternate universe version, where the girl who doesn't have depression, like, what would she have accomplished now? How would she be now? Like, what kind of people would she be hanging out with? How much money would she be making, and all that. And I feel like I always compare myself to her on my worst days. So that quote really hit me, of like, don't compare yourself to someone that you never were even. Yeah, or you don't even want to be. Yeah, exactly. I do feel like from the quotes that were read by Oprah, with her orator presence. I mean, this book is full of very good quotes. Of that, I have no doubt. And I'm actually very much intrigued to see exactly what the quotes are and how it connects to me in my life, because I feel like quotes like these are very much... like they can be molded to fit people's lifestyles and circumstances and situations. Yeah, Oprah says like it's something you should keep on your bedside table and you read it before bed. And Oprah is that bitch who reads like a little inspirational things before bed. And I feel like Cheryl Strayed is like that ultra like liberal, touchy-feely mom. Yeah. Yeah. And she, like, has you get in touch with your feelings. And you're like, Mom, I just want to, I don't know, like, hang out with my friends and eat pizza. Which is not a bad idea. I love hanging out with my friends and eating pizza. I mean, she talks about when she let her kids, like, paraglide while she was teaching a workshop in France. Yeah. And I also couldn't help but feel like this was a very Western mom story. Because can you imagine your mom letting you paraglide at 8 years old? Imagining it now. Oh my gosh. You know what? I think my mom would have done it. Yeah? Yeah. My mom is like, I don't know, kind of distant sometimes. Like, she's not a huggy, touchy-feely kind of mom. Yeah, so she's like, you want to do it? Do it. You know what? Yeah. This is the exemplification of my mother. Okay. So when I was in middle school, this is before cell phones, where you could call people directly. You if you wanted to call your friends, you still had to call their household phone. Dude, you're aging us. No, it's fine. It's fine. Everyone knows we're old. It's fine for the story, because you know what? You know what my friends told me, my middle school friends? They said they were afraid to call my house because my mom answered and she sounded mean. But that's just her regular voice, you guys. She has resting bitch face, but for her voice. She has resting bitch voice. Dude, one part of me wants to be like the cool mom and like come over, like be like the hangout house, and the other one that's like the stronger part of me is like, no kids, keep house clean, ship them out. Beep boop, beep boop. Beep more, meep zorp. Resting bitch voice. Maybe that'll be my secret weapon. I have to start practicing. Tell your mom I said thanks. Thanks for the idea. So anyway, what? Cheryl Strayed? Strayed? Yeah, Strayed. I think it's Strayed. Strayed? Yeah, like she mentions picking that name for herself because she feels like she strayed at one point.
Wait, that is not her real last name?
No, she picked that for herself.
She picked her own last name?
Yes.
What a fucking baller. Dude, first a book of her own damn quotes.
And then she picked her own last name.
Renaming herself?
That's a verb.
Wow.
Wow.
Dude, would you ever rename yourself? First or last or middle name? You have like 4 names. So.
I know I have 5 names, but yeah.
I love you.
Thank you.
I love you and all of your names.
So at the end of the interview, they have this really interesting rapid fire questions round. And we're going to do that for you at the end. But first, Priya wants to talk about like vulnerability and all the things they tackled in this interview.
Yeah, so basically, the 3 things that stood out to me the most in terms of the actual content of the interview and not just how amazing Oprah is. We're both just like, Oprah! Dude, there's this one time during the interview where Oprah was like, girl, and I was like, oh shit, she just spoke to my soul. Like, I feel called to action. I'm ready to serve in Oprah's army.
It's when she was telling Cheryl that she could afford more than an office, because that was like her top dream, was just to have an office. Like her days of buying clothes from Goodwill. Like she just wanted to have an office. That was her humble goal. Her humble aspiration, top aspiration. And then Oprah was like, girl, you're going to have more than an office. And she's like, haha, Oprah. You're so funny.
Oprah, haha. I really hope I could say that to Oprah one day.
No, I bet she gets haha Oprahs all the time.
So, it'll be the best haha Oprah she's ever gotten. And then also during the interview, when they're talking about, like, very deep things, Oprah keeps going,
Yes.
And I'm just like, I am so here for it. I could listen to that as like my sleep soundtrack.
Yeah, that's like the poetry. You know when you hear poetry and you're like, that hits me deep.
Yes.
That's it.
I just had to like bring those 2 things up. Girl, Oprah's amazing. The 3 things that I wanted to talk about specifically regarding the content, like I said before I got sidetracked by how amazing Oprah is. The importance of words is number 1. This idea of vulnerability, number 2. And then number 3 is how we learn the same lessons over and over again in our lives, but in different ways. So I thought that those things were like super interesting. And I just wanted to ask, what do you think about like the importance of words? Because I know that there's so many self-help books out there and like studies and all those kinds of things where it's like the way that you talk to yourself is the most important because it has the most impact on like how you see yourself, where you're going in your life, and just like positive thinking in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way you speak to yourself has a lot of impact because you are the person you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And she has this really interesting saying that she got from her mother, Cheryl's mother. She says, put yourself in the way of beauty.
Oh, I know. I loved that.
Yeah. I love that too because, even when nothing's happening for you, when you're poor and you can only shop out of Goodwill, when, you're broke or like you had a loss in your life, like nevertheless, still put yourself in the way of beauty and something will happen.
Yeah, I really, really like that idea. I just feel like it's so many of these things are just like so simple.
Yeah, I think that's why she has the cred to publish like just a book of her quotes.
Yeah, because like I said, it's simple and it makes absolute sense.
Sorry for doubting you, Cheryl.
Sorry, Cher.
Cher.
We're on a first name basis now. I think she's so cool. And then she talks about this idea of like vulnerability, which is something that I've actually started to adopt more and more into my life. Just being more open and honest and like vulnerable with people around me. And I feel like it's made my relationships a lot better. And even though, yes, it does open you up to being hurt or whatever, that's okay because I just feel like I experience things more deeply now and relationships are more gratifying because of it.
Yeah, and I thought vulnerability meant insecurity, like always wanting to want someone's time or someone's attention, but it's also about being secure in yourself as well.
Yeah, and I think that this is an idea that I think her name is Brené Brown. She writes about in one of her books is vulnerability is actually strength. So maybe we can tackle that in one of our podcasts, because I feel like it's such an interesting idea, and it's so valid to this like time and place where we think like, oh, not caring is cool, or like all that kind of bullshit. When in reality, it's like vulnerability and being open is the coolest thing in the world, guys.
Yeah, and as much as I like made fun of Cheryl for being like a touchy-feely liberal mom, like I think she's just 100% there, and that's why her life seems so full and rich, because she allows herself to feel everything.
Yeah, and that's the trick, isn't it? Is, you know, if you block out the bad stuff, you're not going to get the good stuff either. It's like antibiotics, guys. It just kills all the bacteria. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. So, be vulnerable.
Vulnerability equals antibiotics.
No, not vulnerability equals antibiotics. Vulnerability equals biotics.
Elaborate.
So, Sophia just gave me the craziest look. She was like, bitch, what? So, basically, if you are not vulnerable, if you always have your guard up and you're shutting things down and you're not letting anything inside and outside, you're killing all of the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
It snaps.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. We're just doing like slam poetry today with like the mms and the snaps. So
this is the mood that Cheryl puts you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants you to get in like a hug circle and meditate and
can you
hike.
imagine if we went on a hike with Oprah? What the fuck?
You know,
it'd be like life goal achieved.
Like speaking of the power of words and stuff, we're really big readers. And I someday, like, if I ever have the power of, like, influence, I want to have Oprah's influence on authors. Because she knows that when she promotes an author, that author is going to be big.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of being a figurehead for literacy.
I've never thought about that before, but I 100% agree. I mean, even if it's, you know, no matter fiction or nonfiction or whatever, I'm even reading a collection of, like, fantasy folklore right now, but like some of those stories really, really spoke to me, and it would be so cool if she dedicated part of her day, part of her life, part of her being to like championing the power of words. I just think that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I think she already has. I mean, her book
she definitely
club.
has,
Yeah.
but it'd be cool if she did it for the authors and not just the readers. Like, oh, you should read this book because it's great, but also like in developing stories.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is learning the same lessons over and over again. And I feel like this has happened to me before, but I feel like I learned the lesson in a different way. And the reason I keep learning the lesson is because I didn't actually learn the lesson before. You know? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely have to keep... I don't know, it's sort of like it adds dimension to the lesson. It's not like I'm a dumbass, hopefully not, and I just have to keep...
You're just running in circles.
Literally the same mistake. No, hopefully not. But like as I get older, like I feel like I'm more sure of myself, and at the same time I'm more sure that I don't know everything. So it feels like a different level of wisdom that I'm gaining, hopefully. Yeah, it's like I'm 100% certain that I'm 0% sure. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with being vulnerable to that. Yeah, and that's okay. The more and more we talk about this interview, the more I'm convinced about buying this book and just having it by my bedside and pulling an Oprah. And being that bitch. Yes, I am that bitch already. Please. Please, guys, you know me. But yeah, I'm actually obsessed, and I haven't actually read Wild, which was her first literary debut. Yes. And it's also a movie with Reese Witherspoon. But now I really want to. I just think that she's an incredible story to tell, and that she's an amazingly humble and awesome lady. And also she's endorsed by Oprah, which is all I need to know about anyone. We should shut up about Oprah. I know. I don't care. Oprah. I mean, speaking of, like, the sphere of influence, like, the book Wild, like, the power of that book alone has inspired hundreds of women to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, which is 1,100 miles. Which is just such an amazing thing that you inspire action. Because a lot of books, fiction and nonfiction, they are inspiring, but then
the sense of being inspired lasts until you close the book and put it away.
Yeah, exactly.
But this actually inspired action and like physical thought taking place.
Yeah, it's like she inspired pilgrimages.
Yeah, which I just think is the coolest shit in the entire world. I want to be able to inspire something like that.
Yeah, and that came from being vulnerable, like the loss of her mother, which is what that book was about. Is just so painful, and she talks about how it's her origin story as a person.
Yeah, dude, vulnerability is the fucking key. It is major key. Vulnerability.
I want DJ Khaled and Cheryl Strayed to be together in his like giant shoe closet. His son, what's his son's name?
Something with an A, I forget.
We'll Google it later. But his son is there. Yeah, super cute, and he's like, vulnerability is the key.
Yeah, and Cheryl Strayed's in the back, like, so
with like a hat turned backwards.
Yeah, and her 2 kids are there too, just like rocking out. That'd be amazing.
Oh my goodness. Well, with that image, would you like to get started on our deep Oprah questions rapid fire?
Hell fucking yeah.
Okay.
So I did watch the interview, obviously, but I forgot what the questions are. So Sophia's going to ask me the questions, and then I will ask her, and then she will tell me what her responses are, since they are pre-recorded.
And we'd love to hear your responses as well. selfhelpuspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay, ready?
I'm so ready.
And just like be instinctive about it. Don't think about it too much.
I'm gonna try.
I feel the presence of God when
I'm lying in bed at night and it's very quiet.
I experience love when
someone holds my hand.
The purpose of forgiveness is
feeling lighter.
I am living my purpose when
I don't note the passage of time.
The purpose of a soul is
adding dimension
to.
Actually, I'm gonna change my answer. It's like having a guide.
What is your hope for your legacy?
Everlasting.
Like what kind of everlasting?
Like they will build parks in my name.
Aww.
And have statues of my glory. And name cities after me. And rivers after my children.
Now that was slam poetry. What is the biggest obstacle to peace?
Ego.
What is the root of racism?
Ignorance.
Who have been your greatest teachers?
Words.
Real success is
happiness.
Any advice for your younger self?
To be fair, I am my younger self.
But even younger.
But if I were going to go back 10 years to when I was in my early teens, I would have just been like, chill out, dude. Seriously.
That seems to be everyone's
advice.
Yeah.
But then again...
But we have to keep learning the same lessons over and over again.
That is true.
Bam!
Damn, Cher. Every time. Every time.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Aww. Here you go.
So I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to ask you those same questions. And here we go. I feel the presence of God when
I'm in nature.
I experience love when
I'm laughing with my friends and family.
The purpose of forgiveness is
The purpose of forgiveness is to free yourself.
I am living my purpose when
I try to do the best I can, no matter if anybody is watching or not.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
The purpose of a soul is
see, I really like your answer, but it's also about I think maybe a conscience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hope for your legacy?
My hope for my legacy is that I want to be known as a generous person who always made people laugh.
Aww. I will remember.
I'm not dead yet, bitch.
What is the biggest obstacle to peace? Why are you laughing?
Because my answer will offend a lot of people.
So we all know what it is. Moving on.
Do they know?
I know. If I know, they know.
Men.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking.
Okay, tell me later what you were thinking.
Yeah. The root of racism is?
Fear.
Ooh, that's true. That's very true. Who have been your greatest teachers?
Life.
Hashtag deep. Real success is?
Real success is when you go to bed at night and not worry about bills.
Advice for your young... We just turned into Oprah. Advice for your younger self?
Love yourself.
Classic.
Classic. Cheryl probably said that, but more gracefully.
Oh, absolutely. No offense. But yeah, probably. I actually think I'm going to order that book now off of like Amazon or something because I'm so intrigued by it and...
Order Wild too because you'll be intrigued by her and just... I don't know. She has a gift.
Yeah.
This woman. She does.
Is it a gift of storytelling or the ability to like... I don't know, communicate effectively through words?
I think it's the ability to communicate vulnerability and what that means and why it's important to be vulnerable.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think that this is going to be great.
Yeah, she puts herself out there and it makes you want to put yourself out there as well. I think that's her legacy. Mm-hmm. So I love this interview and I love listening to Oprah in my ear.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you are in any way into like touchy-feely, hippy-dippy stuff, like you should listen to Super Soul Sessions podcast.
Yeah, actually, I downloaded a bunch of them because I was like, I need more Oprah in my life.
Yeah, like Oprah doesn't need our promotion, but we're going to give it to her.
This is free promotion for Oprah. She does not need it.
Thank you so much for listening. Is there anything you want to say to wrap it back up?
Nope, I'm good. It was a pleasure having you listen to us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for your support. We love you guys so much. If you love us as much or equally, then you should rate, subscribe, and review the podcast. It'll help us out tons. And if you really, really love it, you can share it with your friends. Also, if you only kind of like it, you can still share it with your friends. That's okay by me.
Yeah, if you have a friend, she thinks you might like it, just keep sharing.
Keep sharing.
Share it.
Love.
Just share it like herpes.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Try your best to live your best life.
Take care, guys.
Bye.